enjoyable part of our tradition at Lee Commencements has been the commissioning service speeches by graduates. And in the last several years, we've had an extra layer of that. And that's the speeches from those who are graduating from our graduate programs, our master's programs, and from the Division of Adult Learning. What you're going to hear now is commissioning speeches from 3 students who are graduating in these programs. Graduate studies have really brought a lot of richness to our life here at Lee. I don't know what we'd do without our grad students. They just bring so much additional energy to all that we do here. And the Division of Adult Learning has become such an important part of Lee. I think one of the aspects of commencement that I've most enjoyed is watching our DAL graduates come across the stage to receive their degrees, because I know what kind of commitment and work that represents. So let's hear now from 3 graduates from the class of 2020 who come from graduate studies or from the Division of Adult Learning. First, we'll hear from Jared Loudermilk. Jared is from Greenwood, South Carolina, and he is graduating with an MA degree in ministry studies. After Jared, we'll hear from Mark Talley. Mark is a DAL graduate with a bachelor's degree in liberal studies, and he comes from Greenback, Tennessee. And then finally in this set, we will hear from Megan Golden. Megan lives right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and she's just finished a master's degree in education in the area of educational leadership. I'm really looking forward to hearing what these 3 special graduates have to say to us today.
I've been asked to share my Lee experience, which began a little over 6 years ago. I never planned on coming to Lee University. It was something my grandfather, my father, my mother, my brother, and so many others in my family had done before me. And to be honest, I had aspirations to be so many other things at so many other universities. I guess you could say I didn't really know what I wanted to be, but I knew that I wanted to be different. You know, but God had a different plan, as He often does. And after many nights of prayer and a petition to the Lord, Lee University became a real option for my life. And so as a scared 17-year-old kid, I packed my bags and I came to Lee as a freshman in 2014 and had an incredible undergraduate experience. I was involved in so much here that shaped me into the young man you see today. Becoming a member of Tau Kappa Omega and the Lee University of Campus Choir radically changed me for the better. And ultimately, it shaped me and led me into the ministry calling that I have today. And I even met my beautiful, most amazing, wonderful wife, Allison, here at this very university. Lee University continues to bring love stories to life and friendships that last a lifetime, and I'm thankful for that. And I had an amazing undergraduate experience, and so many others have shared the same with you today. Yet I'm not here to talk about my undergraduate experience. I graduated with my undergrad in the winter of 2017, and I loved Lee so much, I decided to come back for seconds in the Christian Ministries Graduate Studies program. When I really wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. To be honest, I just wanted to take a program where I could continue to challenge myself and grow as I was in full-time ministry. I also wanted a program where I didn't have to take Greek again. I signed up for the program knowing that the professors would lead me into greater understanding of God and His Word. And I had no idea that I was beginning a journey to find myself, to find out who God created me to be. In my first full-time ministry job right out of college in 2017, I had experienced significant hurt. Sadly, experiencing hurt and brokenness in ministry is more common than not. And I can attest to the challenges that it brings into the life of a young man. Yet no matter what I faced, no matter what I experienced and trudged through, the staff at Lee University always encouraged me and continued to affirm the calling God had placed on my life as I was in my graduate program. They continued to push me to figure out who I was in Christ and who God called me to be, despite the shortcomings and issues faced at my first job. I'm thankful that I can come to you today speaking to the good that this graduate experience has brought into my life. It has pushed me to be the best version of myself. Through the many papers, readings, and long discussions with my professors, I've learned so much, not just about ministry and God, but about life and love and happiness. And if you had told me that as when I was a 17-year-old kid in 2014 on the first floor of O'Bannon Hall, that I would be standing here today speaking to all the good Lee has brought into my life, I wouldn't have believed you. But God has a funny way of bringing us to where he wants us to be and not where we think we need to be. And so God has continued to lead me and open doors that I had no plan on going in. Lee continues to be God's vehicle to get his people where they need to be. In the words of my good friend Carter Music, I'm the same person as I was when I came to Lee University. I'm just a much better version of that person. I was overwhelmed by anxiety, and now I'm bold and unafraid. I was afraid to ask questions, and now I understand that change begins on the other side of a good question. I was isolated, and now I'm surrounded by a community of people that pour into my life no matter how far the distance. And I was a young, broken kid from Kentucky, and now I'm full of hope. And God met me right in the middle of all of that. Lee University is home to so many, and it is no different in my life. The challenges and the wins and the many stories that I have from my time at Lee University will stay with me until the day I die. I'm so glad that that God led me here to Lee University, and I'm thankful that Lee has been in my life. Thank you.
Good morning, Lee family. My name is Mark Talley. I'm graduating through the DAL program with a degree in general studies. My experience at Lee has been marked from the very beginning by an overwhelming sense of servant leadership. A little historical background about myself and how I got to the DAL program will probably help you understand how important that sense of servant leadership is to me. As far as personal information, I've been married to an absolutely remarkably patient woman for 38 years. I have 3 boys, 2 girls, and 3 daughters-in-law. And all these young men and women are much brighter, much more talented, much more accomplished than I am. Including my wife, my brood has 8 degrees among them, 3 more already in process. So being the leader of the family, but the odd man out academically, has been quite a motivation. My long-term motivation, though, has been related to ministry. For the last 30 years, I've been blessed to be associated with Samaritan Hands, the mission organization based in my hometown of Maryville. This association has allowed me to spend much of my spare time at least, in Central America. We've built and now operate orphanages in Guatemala. We've built and now support churches and schools in Costa Rica. We've built and now support a private Christian school in Paraguay. We've built houses, churches, and a medical clinic in Haiti, and even a residential school for HIV-positive kids in Zimbabwe. Although I'd love to talk about Samaritan Hands to anyone one-on-one, I can do that at length, so be careful what you wish for. I don't share this list or these projects as some sort of laundry list of accomplishments for myself, but just to simply demonstrate that my opportunities have been just about endless. Of course, over time, one gains enough practical experience to be able to lead some of the ministries and projects I've described. I've done this, and I still do this. Teams are often at least partially composed of teachers, coaches, ordained ministers, nurses, engineers, pharmacists, and even dentists and doctors. Being asked to lead a bunch of MS, MEd, MDiv, PE, PhD, DPH, DD, and MD, it can get a bit daunting. Not because of the folks that I've listed. You couldn't ask for a more gracious group to be associated with. All this was within me. I've felt for a long time that I need to be more qualified. So here I am at Lee University. Several other schools wanted to wedge me into existing programs at what I might add was a significant increase in cost and a significant increase in time frame. From day one, from the very first call to the DL program, the question here has been, what are your goals? How can we help you achieve them the most efficiently? My time here has increased my confidence in myself. It's taught me that infinite learning continues forever to be needed and to be done, and ignited a hunger in me for more education as I go forward. I will continue to lead those alphabet soups of people that I just listed, and I'll try to do it well, but also try to do the best job I can at being an ambassador for the university. Thank you very much.
I'm honored today to share my Lee story with you. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that we aren't in person. However, I promise not to use words such as unprecedented or new normal. So for those of you playing COVID bingo, you have time to get a snack. Also, no matter how much my husband Chris asked me to, I'm not going to go through his 3-step process for avoiding being sifted as wheat by the fishers of men. That's fishers with a PH. First off, I'm very much a planner, and I come from a family of planners. My college plans were set before my senior year. However, a simple visit to Lee Day 2002 changed all that. I sat with an admissions counselor that weekend, and then I made the call home to Mom. Let's just say that many silent nights followed that call. It was difficult for her to accept my decision to attend a private out-of-state university, as she was all set to move me in to a state school less than 2 hours away. The day after I graduated high school, we stepped on foot onto Lee campus as a family, and all the doubts faded away. We all felt God's plan for me to be here at that moment. The next 4 years of my undergraduate work molded me as a person and prepared me for a career in education. It was 4 years of professors both challenging me and supporting me, sometimes all at once. 4 years of prayer and pedagogy. Also in those 4 years, I met my husband and helpmate. Following graduation, I had the opportunity to work for a local school system. I remember feeling terrified of stepping into a classroom of my very own. But also, I felt a sense of calm. I felt prepared. I had had teachers and mentors who pushed me to strive for excellence in all areas of my life. As I progressed through my teaching career, I was fortunate enough to be put into leadership roles and have mentors who helped me learn to lead. I felt the pull to go back to school to pursue my master's degree, and of course, there was no other choice in my mind other than my alma mater. Plus, I heard they were handing out yellow umbrellas to grads now, and I had to have one of those. I have to admit, though, I was nervous to sit in the student chair after spending over a decade as the teacher. There's a rumor going around that teachers are the worst students. I hope I didn't reinforce that stereotype. I was put right at ease walking into Dr. Riggins' research methods class, though. It was assuring that most of the same supportive, quality professors that I appreciated in my undergraduate years were still there. I enjoyed discussing current educational issues, hearing new ideas, and debating other ideas with my classmates. Iron sharpens iron, they say. This degree was not easy. It was a marathon. I'm a full-time middle school teacher and all that comes with that. Clubs, coaching, conferences, committees. I'm also a full-time mom of 2 wonderful kids and all that comes with that. Taxi, chef, maid, tutor, field trip guardian. Being short on time is kind of my thing. So I was taking 1 class a semester. Slow and steady wins the race. Then COVID hit. I had extra time on my hands and the ability to take classes remotely. If we have to accept the cons of COVID, we should also be able to accept the pros of COVID. So here I am before you, a member of the class of 2020. I'm happy to know that my Lee story doesn't stop here. Lee has been a part of the golden legacy dating back to my mother-in-law and father-in-law meeting in the old Vikings den of Lee College back in 1973. My brother-in-law and his wife met here in the late 90s, and one of their sons is playing baseball here. Another nephew graduated last May from the College of Ed. My kids graduated from the Early Learning Center, which is amazing, by the way. And when it's their time, my husband and I look forward to putting one of those Lee Mom and Dad stickers on our car. The Goldens are all in for Lee, and we will be forever aflame.